right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the year-end show where we talk about the best things from 2021 and even some of the worst things from 2021.
That's right.
It's been it's actually, I was gonna say it's been a long year, but I feel like it went by pretty quickly, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Honestly, I gotta admit, I was just messing. My lights are just everything's all messed up over here. It was a year.
It definitely was a year. It had a number.
It's funny because it's like 2020 was a wonky year, and then 2021 everyone's like, we're going back to normal, and they couldn't have been more wrong. But it's like we shifted the, like, if this is the notch, and for those that are listening, and kind of got my hand up in the center, right? So if this is the notch for 2020, we didn't go back to normal, which is 5 notches over. We kind of took a step towards normality. Right, we're getting there. We're not quite back yet. It's kind of still a little funny, but it was. I mean, all in all, it was good.
I'd say
wasn't great.
Yeah, so full. Let's talk. We're talking full blown COVID lockdown being a 10,
right. Yeah,
being a 10,
yeah,
and normal being a 1. I'd say we got to about 3 a couple times this year.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah,
which is pretty good. I think
all
the big
things considered.
I think the big thing is now we know what to expect, whereas before it was like everyone was just running around with their heads cut off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's like A, we know what we're risking every time, and B, we know that it's like how it spreads, that the variants are getting more contagious but less lethal, stuff like that, right? So.
Yeah, well, I think we're taking steps towards just living with it, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I mean that's where it's headed, and it is what it is. I mean, for what it's worth, from a streaming point of view, it didn't really affect anything. We're still able to kind of do our thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to do a lot more
in person.
Yeah, I'd like to do a lot more co-op stuff. That's my big thing moving into this next year. I think moving into 2022 to expect 2021 again. Like I know, like if you read about like the Spanish flu, it was 4 years it took before it became like mild enough to where like, yeah, you might get it every year, but it's just what we now call the flu every year, right? So right. I think we've got probably 2 more years of this bullshit, but we know what to expect, and it's not that bad. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna make it through. Everyone's gonna be okay. It's funny because there's like these. I look at it as a scale. You've got people on this side that are like, "Man, this is a big hoax," and then you got the people over here that's like, "We're all gonna die," right? Yeah. And that's like that makes up for like 5% of the entire population.
Absolutely.
They just happen to be really, really loud,
yeah.
And then everyone else in the middle is just like, "Is it done yet? Can we? Can we get on with this? Like, we're done. Let's roll."
But moving it, that made the weirdest noise on
I know.
my end.
I apologize. I had to...
It sounded like a wet fart.
I had to move the microphone.
Here's my theory. You had to
spot.
fart. You knew it was going to be wet, so you moved your microphone to blame it on that.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, I think one of my things moving into 2022, I would like to do more co-op streams. Like, I really want to get back into doing that. Like, I know before COVID, I mean, Finney was here like probably every second weekend. We were playing some co-op games.
Fun with friends.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of fun with friends streams. I'd love to do some of those. Even shortly after the new year here, I'd like to come out your way if the stars align. I was talking to Sirath. I don't know if it was this morning or last night or something, because he's got to come through for Christmas with his family anyways, so I'm going to see if I can get him to come, maybe play some beat-em-up games or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be great.
But yeah, let's start with the list. I feel like if we start at the bottom, because a lot of the stuff at the top is like the best overall stuff.
Upper echelon.
Yeah, so when we get there, we'll have kind of spoiled the other shit. So I think if we start at the bottom, it's probably for the best. So we started with this one was actually Mike added this one to the list this year.
At the last minute, 11th hour ad,
and it's a good ad. It was
good. It was a good. Yep. Yeah.
So
yeah,
in our
absolutely.
Discord, for those of you that aren't aware, we do have a Discord. You can check it in the links below the video, or if you're listening on Spotify, there's I usually put them in the links below there as well. And we have a place called the Fooding in our Discord, and it's where you post all your sexy food pics. And so this year we're doing best food post in the Discord 2021. I just said 2017. Yep. I don't know why, but
wow, you're reaching back for that one.
The good old days. So if you want to go first, since you came up with the topic,
sure. This one was really hard. So
it is.
So here's the thing, I have a first place answer, but then I've got a lot of like, let's call it honorable mentions here. Because truthfully, I almost felt it needed to be broken into categories.
Yeah,
right?
Like dessert, like
100%. That's exactly what I said. So I'll throw out my number one first. My number one this year for best food post in the Discord is Reltek's Regina Prairie Pizza.
Oh!
Because every time I see him throw that pizza down in chat, dude. It makes me want to drive the 8-hour drive to go and get that pizza. Yeah. It is phenomenal. And because I've had it before and I know how good it is, just seeing that photo, like I'm drooling right now talking about it. So that would have if you told me, only you have to pick one, that's my one. But I felt that Vector won breakfasts.
Oh yeah,
I feel that
he's so consistent with them too.
Every single Sunday morning there was a breakfast post from Vector. He's got that down. I feel Bubs won for the ribs.
Yeah, those are.
And good. I feel that Finney won for smoked meats. There are so many great food. Like the food channel in our Discord has got to be one of my absolute favorites because it's something that has nothing to do with gaming. It's just a reflection of that person and like what they like. And like you and me are posting dinners in there all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like you posted a Chinese food dinner the other night and it looked, looked absolutely delicious.
So good.
And so even just kind of that, but yeah, if I had to pick one, it's got to be the Prairie Pizza. Gotta say.
Yeah, there's some good ones. I do agree with Bubs when he made those ribs that one time because that was I think the only post in there that I was like, that's a 10-minute drive for me. I might actually go
down there and get some.
Yeah, that was the one of those. But my number one was it was Reltek's weekly pizza bombs. You've got all of us trying to. I mean, I've been trying to eat healthy. Trying to stay in shape. Vector's trying to, I think, lose weight or something. He's trying to stay in shape, but it's all comes crashing down at least once a week pizza. When Sean posts his fucking pizza from Regina. And Regina's got the best pizza. There's so many good fucking pizza places in that city, man.
Hands down. You could throw a rock and hit 3 pizza places that are absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
there. So
good.
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to more, and that's for what it's worth. Reltek's, you're gonna have to step it up here. We either need more pizza pictures, or you're gonna have to come up with something else. And everyone else, I feel we're really gonna have to hit the gas to try and pull that crown. We should almost create a role for best foodie 2021 or something.
Yeah, they just keep that.
You can have that title.
We could pin the winners in the announcements.
There's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that maybe after podcast.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, there's definitely that one. And it's funny because we've got all these like various different like fancy foods and dinners.
Oh yeah.
And that's like a pizza every week. Here you go.
Yeah,
here you go. This wins.
Yeah, but look at it.
I know. It looks so fucking good.
Last week, was it Len282 posted like a salmon dinner?
Yeah, that looked really good.
It looked legit. But then like you put that up against one of those greasy, just cheese-filled pizzas. I don't know. I don't know how anything else could
pizzas. Like
you could take a piece of paper towel and place it on top of that pizza. It will pull off orange, and there would still be grease dripping off of it. Yeah, there'd still be grease dripping off of it. That's how you know it's good.
Yeah.
So, anyway, well done.
And then so yeah, that's the winner. I mean, all around grand champion there. I would say Reltek with the pizza bombs. Game you're most looking forward to. Now, I was gonna limit this to in 2022, but so many of these games that I'm looking forward to have no release dates yet. So
Right.
Or they've had a release date 10 times and blown past it, which is always a bad sign.
Absolutely. Cyberpunk? Hello?
Yeah, that did it too, right.
So I put 2 answers down here because I didn't know if this was game I'm most looking forward to streaming or game I'm most looking forward to playing. So I gave both, and it's actually funny because I landed on the same answer basically for both. I threw down, because I'm only picking one. I have a bunch, right? But I'm only picking one. Game I'm most looking forward to streaming, I put the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Oh, yeah.
Because I am so excited. I am so excited to run through that. And I feel like playing that with chat is going to be really cool, too. Because I want to do it kind of the same way I had done Fallout, where it's like, well, chat can throw me answers, and we'll build something out of this. Because I've run through it so many times before.
Right, yeah.
And then for looking forward to, I couldn't pick between Final Fantasy 16 and Mass Effect 4. Because
I forgot they were even making a Mass Effect 4.
Yeah.
Is it called Mass Effect 4? Like it's continuation
Mass Effect 4. It's not Andromeda. No.
Of Shepard?
It's coming. Shepard's coming back, question marks.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
We don't know. But they posted some teaser photos and stuff like that.
I did see that,
It looks really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks really good. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, with that, obviously, because Andromeda was a hot, stinky mess garbage pile. I don't know if you got Commander Shepard. I don't know how you can screw it up.
I know a lot of people that actually did like Andromeda. Besides,
Andromeda was
like
good
outside the glitchy bullshit.
Yeah. So here's the thing about Andromeda. It was good for what it was. It was not a follow up to Mass Effect 3, and that's where they really dropped the ball. Because it just didn't have those same impact moments that the Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3 had. It was like the characters you didn't really care a whole lot about. The combat was kind of flimsy. You spent most of the time driving around, right, on the planets.
Yeah, okay.
And then from one planet to the next should feel vastly different. It was like, this is the ice planet. This is the jungle planet. This is the desert planet. And it was like, they're basically the same. It's just slightly different.
The sand is white.
Yeah, it's
snow.
There was a lot of areas that they could have improved on, and I feel because they were rushed, they were unable to improve on it, and that's likely what happened. So, this is what it is. We'll see what happens with 4.
Yeah,
I'm still going to buy it and play it. It is what it is.
Dying over here. Yeah, mine were. Mine were like games that aren't out yet. So, my big one is Digimon Survive. That game was supposed to come out in 2019. It's supposed to be a tactical RPG Digimon story.
Oh, really?
Yes, then it got pushed back to 2020, and then they were like, okay, people are getting sick of us pushing the release date back. What if we just don't talk about the game for a year and a half? And so now it's supposed to come out in 2022. But seriously, I'm fucking worried because usually when this happens, it means bad things about the game. Unfortunately,
is it Bandai Namco?
Yeah, and they're usually like good, but there's a lot. Bandai Namco, you're usually looking at something that's a little bit janky but really good. Mm-hmm. Or you're looking at something that's might be absolute fucking trash.
Yeah, so I think the difference always lands in whether or not it dropped in Japan first.
Yeah, if it's a worldwide release, it's usually bad.
Usually garbage.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's how they like get away with like not having to release all their good games here, because they're like, all right, guys, let's make a shitty one and release it in the West, so they can't complain we don't release any there, and then they do, and then it's shit. Oh, and then they're like, see, nobody buys our games there. And then they go back to just releasing them in North America. My big one, the biggest of all, but there's no release date or anything, is Dragon Quest 12, of course. But, I mean, there's literally all we've seen is the title with, like, that's it. And then I think one that is coming out next year, confirmed, is Sea of Stars, which is an indie-developed JRPG made by the same team that did The Messenger, which was, I think, I called it the best game I streamed last year. So.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one quite a bit. Kame is actually one of the quality testers for that one.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
That's really cool. Good for him.
Cool. He speed runs the Messenger, so I imagine that's what got him in there.
Right.
But cool. Yeah, those are kind of the ones I'm looking forward to. Now, looking forward to streaming, I don't even know, man. Like, I'm still trying to work my way through all the PS1 like classic JRPGs, so I'm not even sure there. I also want to do some of the Saturn ones. So I guess the one I was going to
say some of the Saturn games.
Yeah,
my guess would have been for
the
you.
one I think I'm probably looking forward to the most now to stream is Panzer Dragoon Saga. It's supposed to be really good, so hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I've always heard about Panzer Dragoon, never actually played it. So I've heard it was supposed to be good though. I played
I have the first two. And they're like a rail shooter kind of thing, and you're on the back of a dragon, and those are kind of cool, but they're really hard. This Panzer Dragoon Saga is supposed to be a JRPG based kind of in the universe, so I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of Panzer Dragoon and Saturn, I do like a New Year's Eve stream every year, and this New Year's Eve I'm going to be doing pretty much the entire Saturn library that I have. Other than like super long games, right? Because I want to go through and play a bunch of them. But we'll be seeing some
like
bug action
games and
Are
you gonna revisit Clockwork again?
Yeah, I'll probably do Clockwork Knight 1 and 2, Bug 1 and 2. I want to do there's a Cotton 2. That's a super fun one. It's like a shoot 'em up, like a sideways shoot 'em up, but you're like this little witch and you're like. You have a little fairy and stuff. I don't know. It's kind of cool. It's very unique, but cool. Next topic is most surprising game played this year. So this would be like either a game you didn't think you'd play or a game you played and was like, wow, I didn't know that that's what this was going to be or that this was going to be this good. So I'll let you go first again if you...
Yeah, absolutely. This was tough for me because I played a lot of good games this year. For streams.
Yeah, you did.
But I gotta tell you, and I haven't actually finished yet, but I gotta tell you, I put Final Fantasy IV down here. Because I've been like non-stop. Like last stream, I don't know if you caught it or not, but like, and I'm not gonna throw any spoilers here, but 3 major events happened in one stream where I'm like, what?
Tell me, what happened?
So let's see. So I was down in the Babel Tower.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're like, oh, we've got to go save the dwarves. And then Yang runs in. He's like, nah, I'm good. Peace, homies. And he's dead. And then Tella had just died literally just before that.
Oh, right. Trying to kill Golbez, right?
Yep. So he throws his Meteo down, and then that didn't work, and then Yang just died, and then we're like, all right, well, we're getting out of there. We jump on the airship, and Sid's like, well, my turn now.
Oh, and yeah, when you're like...
the bomb!
Is that when you're like leaving on the underworld?
Yeah, because we couldn't get out, and so he's got to throw the bomb to block the way out.
Right.
And then it was like 1, 2, 3, like boom, boom, boom. You don't even have a chance to really even realize what's going on, and then you land, and it's like you finally get control of everything again. You're like, what the frick just happened?
Yeah,
like they just completely turned the game up on its head. So, that it has had a lot of moments right now where it's like this is really good. The story has been phenomenal, and I it's funny because I wrote Final Fantasy IV off a long time ago because I have it on my SNES Classic,
right?
And like the translation screwed up, and
really
it looks like garbage.
There's stuff
and things
cut
are
from
like
it too.
Yeah, like it wasn't a good play for the first, like I think I put maybe 45 minutes, like the first little bit into it, and they shut it off because I was like, whatever, this is dumb. I'm never gonna play this again. And so I'm glad now that I've returned back to it, and we're doing it on the PS1.
Yeah, PS1's the best version, man.
It's a good version. My one pullback is the load time.
Yeah,
the memory card is just like take forever. But it is. I mean, PS1. What do you expect? It is what it is. But I got to tell you, hands down, the most surprising, because it's like I didn't know what to expect going in, and now it's like every single time I'm playing it, it's like a minefield. Like I don't know. They have dropped. In this game alone, I want to say they've killed now 6 different characters, and one of them is the main character shedding off him being a Dark Knight and coming out as a Paladin.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's like, nope, I'm not this guy anymore. And you completely start the character over again.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
so good, man.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Very, very good. So now, and it's like, now that we're at this point, I don't know. And I'm looking at all my characters like, maybe I don't want to level grind these guys anymore. Because I'm just going to die again.
Yeah, it's such a good game, man. Like, it's been 4 and 9 are always like tied. Like 1 week 4 will be my favorite Final Fantasy, and then the next 9, and it's like, fuck me. Like, if you take into consideration the technology available at the time, 4 wins every time. Like 4.
Yeah,
if you remade 4 to look like Final Fantasy like 15 or something like that, like nowadays graphics, and it played exactly the same. God.
I'm done wishing for that. I don't want them to touch the old games anymore. Leave them alone.
No, let them play the same. As long as they play the same, you can not fuck up a remake.
Yeah, well, that's possible. It's possible for any company other than Square.
Yeah.
It's just they're just never.
We'll see what happens with the Dragon Quest 3 remake that they got coming out
that's
soon.
a good point.
I think they'll do good with that.
Great game. Once I get to the finish line, I'll be able to give you a proper.
Yeah, I want to do a podcast just on that game with you. Yeah, it's so
very good. Yeah, I think I had asked in chat. I believe I'm just over halfway.
Yeah, you're over half now.
This point, so.
Yeah, it's so good, man. There's a couple more big twists coming yet. Like, my god!
Considering what's happened up to this point, it doesn't surprise me even a little bit.
Such a good game. The other crazy thing is, like, the first time I played Final Fantasy IV was at my cousin's house. Like, my cousin had a Super NES, but mostly all they had was, like, Mario Paint. They had Donkey Kong Country 1. They had Super Mario World and Super Mario All-Stars, and that's mostly what they had. But every once in a while, one of my older cousins would borrow a game from one of her friends. And 2 of those games, one of them was Final Fantasy IV, and the other was Final Fantasy VI. So I had a little bit of experience with them. I just remember the first time I played Final Fantasy IV, and I was like, this is supposed to be a Super Nintendo game, but the graphics look like they could have been possible on the NES, and I was like so disappointed. So then I spent more time playing 6, because 6 looked a lot more like a Super NES game. 6 had the increased
sprites.
Yeah. But then when I went back to 4, I was like, wow, this is fucking one of the greatest games ever made. Like,
Yeah, the story has been phenomenal so far.
And the pacing is perfect.
Oh yeah.
Like, if
they don't let off the gas pedal at all. There hasn't been a single point. The only time the game has lulled was my own doing from stopping and grinding.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's go. The really, if I'm reaching for a gripe here, there's been a couple points where I'm like, well, I don't really know what to do now, because it wasn't super clear about where I needed to go next.
Oh, okay.
Like to find the well, to throw the bomb down and to explode it to get down.
Oh, to get to the underworld.
I had no idea. Chad ended up having to help me out with that because I had no clue. But outside of that, and I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out, right? But since I'm usually playing on a bit of a time crunch, it was more instead of wasting an hour finding this, just go do this.
That's how I am when I'm streaming too, because it's like you only got like 2 hours a night or 3 hours a night, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, phenomenal. Can't say enough good things about it so far.
All right, so my most surprising gameplay this year was Ristar or Rystar.
Oh really?
And I remember,
you only played that this year?
Yeah, I only played that this year. Okay. It was a random retro request stream, and I think Vector recommended it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this. Like, I think I've played it before, but I was just like expecting Sonic the Hedgehog because it's made by the same team, and I was like, this isn't Sonic, and just turned it off right away. But I actually played it. I never beat it. I still haven't like finished it. But I got like a good ways in, and it was like super fucking good. Like, it was way better than I thought it was going to be.
I ended up playing that on in our 24-hour stream.
Yeah, the charity
stream. And I believe Vector had also recommended it, because I had thrown out like, well, you know, we're open. What do you guys want to see? And they threw that, and I was like, okay. And I went in completely blind. I had never even heard of the title before.
Oh, okay.
I had no idea about it. I didn't know anything about it. Didn't know the Sonic team made it until after the marathon, and you were like, well, yeah, this is who made it. That's why he plays that way. I'm like, oh, that makes a lot more sense then. A great game. It struck me at first as like, okay, this is a game made for children. Like it had that really kind of kiddie vibe to it.
Yeah.
But once you get into it, the game plays so smoothly. The controls are really good.
Yeah.
And then like the boss fights are actually so entertaining because you got to think about what you're doing.
Yeah,
so,
I really.
that's
my
really
favorite
enjoyed
part
that title.
is the boss fights, definitely.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I'm definitely going back to it. I think I decided that that's going to be one of those games I play in between RPGs. So going from one JRPG into the next,
right? Because you need something to cleanse the palate,
just to kind of scrub it a bit.
Yeah.
Yep, scrub it a bit.
Yeah. So that was my most surprising game played this year.
Yeah.
Favorite game streamed that nobody wanted to watch. This is always my favorite topic. I don't know why, because it's like such a bizarre topic, but
yeah. I struggled here a little bit because I played it very safe this year. I played a lot of retro RPGs this year, and what I ended up doing was cutting up my schedule so that Mondays was kind of the retro night. Monday was kind of a free-floating, we would do whatever is open. Wednesday's my retro night. Friday I would have an online games type of thing, and then Sunday was D&D. And so I played it pretty safe with most of those games. I landed on Minecraft for this one. Because nobody wants to watch a 30-something-year-old man playing Minecraft with his friends, with no mods, with no real, like, there's no challenge. It's basically just open world building stuff.
Right.
And so that had to have been, when I had streamed Minecraft those few times, that had to have been my hands down worst stream from a viewership point of view. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the content was good, but nobody's tuning in for Minecraft.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the only other thing that I could possibly think of was that there was a couple odds and ends online games that I had played that were pretty weak, but I couldn't really remember exactly which games they were. I know Bomber Grounds was in there and a couple other ones, and it was just because they happened to be like, I didn't really feel like playing something big, and I just wanted to do something just to play. But Minecraft was pretty much the worst one I had done this year.
So for mine, it was actually I took a lot of risks this year. This was probably my riskiest year, definitely, in terms of like games. Like I've been playing so many games that nobody's heard of,
right?
And that'll continue into next year because there's a couple Saturn JRPGs that I want to play. But right now, I've been doing, for all of December, I've been doing Spacemas. So I've been doing all the Star Trek games, all the good Star Trek games. And sometimes I'll get like 13 viewers, and then sometimes I'll get like 5 or 6, because a lot of people don't want to watch like point-and-click adventures. And the ones that do aren't usually the guys that are watching my stream. Like my regulars don't watch that kind of game. So it is nice because the game I'm starting next is a first-person shooter Star Trek game.
Okay. Cool.
But speaking of first-person shooters, favorite game stream that nobody wanted to watch was SWAT 4. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I love that game so much, but nobody wanted to watch it.
Wasn't it because you had your graphics settings set to like...
No, that was just at the very start. I was rocking like N64 graphics, because the game came out in like 1997 or something like that.
Yeah. It was like, chat was like, change your settings, put the graphics up. You're like, what? Oh, hang on. Click, click. Oh, look at that. It's all in HD now.
It looks so good. Yeah, but
that's tough. That's tough because that's actually a pretty fun game.
Oh,
but
so good.
But I could see how people don't want to tune in and watch that, I guess. But
I think another big problem with it is the game's very difficult, and it's supposed to be difficult, right?
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be realistic. And so a lot of the times, like I think the one night I replayed the same stage like 5 times because I couldn't pass it. So I think that's a big part of it too. People don't want to watch you clean the same or clear the same room like 5 times in one night, right? Mm-hmm. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I probably won't be streaming it ever again, but I'll be playing it offline, enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I do with Minecraft. That's my offline stream now. Offline game to play, kind of monkey around with a bit. But yeah, no more streaming that one.
So next category is favorite retro game streamed.
This is next to impossible for me to answer because I played so many good retro games this year.
I think pretty much 99.9% of the games I played were retro games this year.
So what I did is I nixed anything that was the obvious answer, right? Chrono Trigger, come on, of course, right? The Final Fantasy games, of course, right? Where I actually went with favorite retro game streamed is one that we're doing right now, which is Baldur's Gate 2.
Oh yeah. This game came out in like 98, 2000-ish era. It's a game based on Dungeons and Dragons version 2, which they're on version 5 now, right? Like, so we go back in time. It was created by a group of lawyers. What?
Right? Yep. That enjoyed playing Dungeons and Dragons and turned it into a video game, which basically they determined that the content of Dungeons and Dragons would make itself into a good video game. So the entire thing, like when you attack, it rolls the dice, it adds modifiers, like exactly as you.
Yeah, it looks like D&D. Just like an automatic digital D&D game. When
that's
I watch you play
That's exactly what it is. Quite literally, that's exactly what it is. The reason why I chose this as my favorite one streamed is because when we hop on Friday nights, me and 3 other guys, and 2 of those guys have played this game like to death. It's one of their favorite games of all time. And then it's me and Finney who have literally never played the game before. Right? So we get to experience it for the first time. They get to experience us experiencing it for the first time. Plus they're playing a game that they really love. And because it's a group of us, we get to play off of each other and like throw stupid voices on and stuff like that, and we really ham it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it's just a really fun stream, and people love it. I have had people jump into the stream that have never seen my channel before, but simply because we're streaming it, they jump in and they just enjoy it.
Oh, right? That's awesome.
There's just these memorable characters. There's the storyline. Like, everybody who loves this game, they are just like in 100%. So this has definitely been one of my favorite streams that we've done this year. This for Baldur's Gate 2 is just such a fun time.
That's awesome. I've heard of the series, and I didn't actually see the original games until I watched your stream of it. And I do, it's fucking cool.
It is cool.
But I have played, I think it's Baldur's Gate. Is it like Deadly Alliance? Is that a Baldur's Gate spinoff?
Yep, that is. Yep.
Me and Paul used to
Dark
play
Alliance.
Those. Oh, Dark Alliance. Is that what I said? Deadly Alliance or some stupid shit?
Yeah, but that was the console one.
Yeah.
So they had Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were on the PC, and then they did Dark Alliance was a PS2 and Xbox.
Yeah, it was definitely PS2. Me and Paul played the shit out of it. And I would love to co-op that game with you or somebody at some time.
Yeah, 100%.
Because that game is super fun.
There's a lot of really good stuff in that type of an RPG game because it's so story driven.
Yeah.
You have the ability to have kind of any type of person who likes games gets what they want. They want story, they want fighting, they want the retro look, the isometric stuff.
Yeah.
It's all in there. So it was a really good game.
Mine was Lunar 2 Eternal Blue complete on the PS1.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Honestly, like, fuck me, man. Like, so my whole goal this year was to play every classic PS1 JRPG, and I'm still not done. That'll be continuing next year. There's still some good games I got to get through. And it's like you have these games in your mind that you grew up playing years ago, and these are your favorite games of all time, right? Like, you've got like, for me, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 4, Dragon Quest 4, Dragon Quest 7, stuff like that. These are things that I grew up with, so they're kind of like cemented in as the greatest games I've ever played. And then it's crazy, years later I ended up playing Lunar. I don't know if I played the first Lunar this year or last year, but I played that and I was like, wow, I really wish I didn't miss this game growing up, because this is fucking absolutely perfect. Like, this game is exceptionally good. And then usually when that happens and you've got a sequel, you're expecting the original to be here and the sequel to be, even if it's a good sequel, you're expecting it to be about here, right? Like,
it's not going to hit the same mark, but it'll be pretty close.
Yeah, like, so, like, if Lunar 1 is like a 10 out of 10, Lunar 2, you're expecting it to be anywhere from a 7 to an 8 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
I play this game, and I almost want to, like, rewatch myself playing it, because as I go on, as I keep playing it, I'm like, man, this is almost as good as the first one. That's fucking awesome. And then as I keep playing it, I'm like, wow, this is as good as the first game. That's insane, because I did not think that possible. And then by the end of the game, I'm like, wow, how the fuck did they outdo that first game? Like, oh my god, it's so good. And I don't want to say anything because I know you haven't played it.
I do want to run through those games. I do want to play those ones.
But it's like, oh my god, it's so incredibly good. Like,
well, and these games were not well known on the PS1, right?
No.
These are Japanese games that were not ported by the original developers, right? That weren't they ported by a different company?
Yeah, so Working Designs back on the Genesis and the Sega CD, what they did was they saw, I think what happened was they saw a niche not being fulfilled on the Genesis in the West. Because the Super NES had Final Fantasy IV, it had Chrono Trigger, it had Secret of Mana, whatever, right? It had all that.
If you wanted
stuff.
RPGs, you were playing SNES. You weren't playing Genesis.
Yeah.
You were playing Genesis for sports games.
Yeah, or Sonic or whatever, right? Like action platformer, stuff like that.
Action games.
And yeah, there's Shining Force, but Shining Force is a tactical RPG, right? It's a little different. But what Working Designs did was they found all these JRPGs that were absolute classics in Japan, and they localized them for here. And so like Lunar 1 and 2 were originally Sega CD games, and I played a bit of the first one on the Sega CD and enjoyed it, and everyone in chat was like, dude, just stop, play the PS1 version, because the PS1 remake is just way better in every single way. So I was like, okay, we got this far. I know what the Sega CD one's all about. It's a fucking great game. And then played the PS1 version. And it's the same localizing team, so it's still Working Designs. And it's just perfect. Like, they did such a good job. The story is incredible. The characters, these are like some of the best written characters I've ever experienced in a game. And the soundtrack, because the first game is so about music, the soundtrack is exceptionally good. Like, you feel like you're playing, like, I'm not saying I'm like the biggest Disney fan here, but it's like you're playing like a Disney game in terms of the music quality, because one of the main characters is a girl. Actually, two of the main characters, the main guy, he plays, I think it's like a flute or something, and the girl sings, and that's kind of their thing. And then like all this fucking shit happens, but her voice is like a massive part of the story. So like they have like all these songs and stuff, and it's so good. Oh my god, everything, the production quality, everything's so well done in that game. The only downside I'd say to the first one was its incredible difficulty at times on the PS1 version. Sega CD version was a lot easier. And then the second one had some really tough spots too, but so good. Such good characters, so many good twists, great battle system. Goddamn, that was the best retro game I played this year.
Stuff. Yeah, it looked good. I'm looking forward to playing that one, honestly.
So next up on the docket, most active in Discord. I don't know who you got, but I'll let you go first. I'm not too sure who I got, or who you got.
I actually, this is one of the few that I had just one answer for, and I said this is Vector, hands down. So aside from you and me, we are constantly posting in it, which makes sense. That's our Discord. Yeah. That's where our home is, right? We post in there all the time. There is not a day goes by that Vector does not post something in that Discord.
Yeah, this is true.
Whether it's a picture, whether it's chatting, whether it's anything, he is always active. It just, all my notes just say Vector, hands down. Like, it's like no contest. There's no contest. Everybody's really active. I don't mean to downplay everyone being active in the Discord, but and not only that, but Vector's been there right from day one too.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, just literally, just always in there. I can't talk about how appreciative I am of the fact that he's just so active. So, so that was my pick, 100%.
So my pick was a bit of a twist this year. And Vector was definitely a close second. He was a tight second.
Okay.
But it's kind of funny because this guy would not exist if not for Vector. This is Vector's best friend, Crim13, is who I chose.
Okay.
I found that Crim13 was a little bit more active this year. I don't know if Vector was a little bit busy, but Crim13 was in there quite a bit this year. I think if we do this announcement pin, we might as well give it to both of them because we each have our own lists anyways. But Crim13, we see you. You're putting in some good hours. We appreciate the hell of it. I would say this year was the year where the Discord really started popping off.
It did.
Like this was the first time where if I had a busy day at work, and didn't have a chance to go in the Discord and check it, there would be 25 messages. Like that is
lots of messages.
That warms my heart to see.
Yeah, it was great. It was absolutely great. Yeah, and I mean, in the year before, we would have to kind of instigate a conversation.
Yeah,
get it started. Everyone would roll with it.
Yeah, there wasn't as many people, right? Yep. And now we have so many people. So many of them share the similar tastes. Some of them have opposing tastes, or are sharing each other's tastes. It's such a good mix.
There's a lot of
people.
Opinions. And not only is there a lot of opinions, but it's really we have not once had to step in and be like, all right, cut it out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's too much, right? Everybody gets along, even though they may not agree. It's been nothing but just cool in there. So yeah, I agree. I have seen Crim posts quite a bit in there, and that's funny that they're related. So maybe this the tag team duo, when one's unavailable, the other one's thrown down in there. But yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so thank you, Crim13, for all your support, and thank you, Vector, for bringing your good friend Crim into the Discord and into the community.
For sure,
appreciate the hell out of it. Best moderator this year. I'll go first this time. I made you go first for literally all of them.
Go for it.
This time I actually picked a new member, a new member to the mod team on my channel. Anyways, a man that me and him were good friends for years. And just kind of lost touch for years, and then this year, I don't know how he found me online, but my good friend Reltic is best moderator on my channel this year. He's there every single stream. He's always, whether he's doing housework or whatever, he seems to always be there every single time. Definitely a second place would be Vector again, closely in behind. Vector's always there as well. But Reltic has been there every single stream, and he's there to lay the smack down if things are going
swing
off
the
ban
hammer.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, it's so, and Reltic's been poking into my stream here as well. And I mean, I didn't know Sean nearly as well as you did, right?
Yeah, I'm so happy to just talk to the guy again. I lived in the same city as him and worked with him for 2 years, and then we stayed in touch, I think, until I was maybe 26 or so, and then all of a sudden he's not very active on Facebook, and that's kind of usually how I stay in touch with people, and then all of a sudden he jumped on my stream, and I was like, holy shit, dude. And ever since then it's been just great having him around.
Yeah, it's been absolutely great. So no, thank you very much, really appreciate that. Man, it's hard for me to pick a best moderator. It really is, because I've got such an awesome team of mods. I mean, and you and I mod for each other too. Yeah. So I don't count you in my list. Same. So don't feel like you're not being noticed. But so this year, if I had to pick one, I got to go with my main man, Finney. Finney is there. He is there to calm down the ruffians. But I added Rocket Monkey and Crinkle both to my mod team this year. Rocket Monkey mods for a big time streamer, like a guy who's making it. It's his full-time job.
Oh, okay.
And so Rocket is in there, and he's one of the guys I play Baldur's Gate with as
yeah.
well. I know him personally outside of the stream at IRL as well.
Dude's got the sexiest
all of these
voice
guys,
ever.
all of these guys I do. That's right. And so Rocket Monkey, Crinkle, Finny, Bubs, you're all absolutely fantastic. I do gotta hand it to Finn. Finn is my guy. If I'm in chat and something happens, he's clipping it. If it's if I'm if I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do here, he throws a poll up. Like, he's just doing the mod thing at all times. He's always got my back for all things stream related. So I can't. It's hard to pick one, but if I absolutely had to, that would be my guy. So on the same topic, what about the most active follower this year? Where did you land with most active follower for your stream this year?
So this one was tough too. I went with Reltic again on this one.
Right. Okay.
Because he's been there I don't think there's been like a single stream, maybe 2 streams since he started coming around that he maybe missed. And then second, of course, would be Vector. Vector's always there. Whether he's busy, he'll maybe have it on a second screen, second window or something like that. But Reltic's been there every stream since he's been back, kind of thing.
That's awesome. That's absolutely great. I had to go with Lord Zabu again this year. He's the same guy I picked last year for this topic, and let me tell you why. Not only is he there all the time, right? But he's engaging in chat, and he's constantly throwing down on me. Constantly. Like, we got the What's in the Cup wheel. He's always starting off that wheel. When we did the marathon stream, that dude was donating. Like, he donated a large amount. But not only just that, like, because I was doing the beans, right? And I did the marathon, and then I did a Movember. And so he would kick things off, and he'd be like, because those moments are content moments, right? When DG eats a fiery bean and like basically starts dry heaving on screen, like, those are all content moments. And I honestly don't think half of those moments, honestly, and half is being conservative probably, but I don't think even half those moments would have happened if it wasn't for Zabu. So I gotta say, massive thank you to Zabu. He's definitely the most active follower. I do have to give special shout outs to 3 people, and that's Lenstu82, who's been there for every single Final Fantasy IV stream, dude, and has been he's like, always there. If we're talking about someone who loves that game as much as you do, Duke, this guy does. He has played it and played it and played it. He knows everything about it. He's just like, I can't wait till you go through the next part. And he's just sitting there like,
that's how I am watching you too. Like, I'm so excited you're playing that game.
I've got Reltic down here too, who's been in the stream pretty much nonstop, and again for the same reason that Zabu. Like, Reltic has thrown just as many beans at me, I think, as Zabu has. When I was doing the Bean Boozled ones, those those Bean Boozled ones are absolutely terrible. But when I was doing those, he was throwing those down too, the fiery ones. And then Husky Boy, who maybe I shouldn't shout out because he is my like king lurker.
Yeah, same. He's always there.
But he is always in my stream. Like, I don't think I've ever had a stream where he hasn't been in it. And so a big thank you. I'm not super active in chat, but I see you there. And I appreciate the fact that you're always in chat. And I do appreciate that. So.
Yeah, shout out to the lurkers, man.
I
love
seeing
their names there.
I love seeing their names. I hate shouting them out because it's like they're lurking on purpose. They don't want to be spotlighted. But I gotta throw one for Husky Boy. He's always there. Always.
Yeah, he's there quite a bit on mine too. So next up is favorite and or most listened to podcast this year.
So I put, does ours count? No. I don't really do a lot of podcasts.
Okay.
I do.
Is there like an album you listen to, like a shitload this year?
No, I mean that's the thing. I do. I do some podcasts, and if I had to pick one, there's one that I've been really listening to, and that's 60 Songs That Explain the 90s. Which it's a music podcast. So every episode is about a song that had a defining moment in the 90s. So it was like. There was a Wu-Tang Clan one. Alanis Morissette was in there. There was it's just all of these different episodes of just different stuff. And they talk about like how the song came, what the band was doing, what the moments were that changed, like when it was in there, and like how it affected the music industry and all these things. And it's been a really, really interesting podcast, but it's not really related to anything here. It's like I listen to podcasts when I'm driving to work. Right.
Yeah.
And so that if I was to pick one, that would probably be my pick for this year.
That sounds like a very interesting podcast.
It is a really
interesting
cool podcast. If you're into the music of the 90s at all, that is definitely up your alley.
Yeah, you'll have to send that to me.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
So mine was actually MMA Hour.
Okay.
There's it's an MMA or like pro martial arts journalist, Ariel Helwani. He was working for ESPN for a bunch of years, and he was doing a show called DC and Helwani. DC is Daniel Cormier. He was the light heavyweight UFC champ and the heavyweight UFC champ. Okay. And they were doing a show for all of last year, and then he kind of tested free agency and ended up back at his original show called the MMA Hour. And it's just a great show where he interviews fighters, and it's kind of he's not with ESPN, so he can say whatever he wants. They can swear on you know what I mean? Like they're not censoring themselves.
Yeah,
like they're saying what they actually think.
He can be himself.
Yeah, he can be himself, and the fighters can be themselves, right? They don't have to cut any of the interview. He can ask whatever he wants. Sometimes he gets himself into trouble, but that's kind of why people like him so much, right? Because he'll ask the questions nobody else will. There's so many fighters that look forward to his interviews, because otherwise all the interviews from the standard mainstream media are, you looking forward to your fight? What do you think?
Yeah, it's always
like it's the same fucking questions.
You could go to Google and type in questions for fighter, and those would be the questions.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas he's asking like these personal questions, you actually get to know the fighters, and the fighters love that because it's not a boring ass interview, right?
It's like, so what do you think about dill pickle chips?
Yeah, exactly. But it's good. Cool. I'm glad he's back on his own show. That's definitely my most watched podcast of the year. And I listen to a lot of podcasts because I travel a lot, right, for like Muay Thai and stuff.
Yeah, you're always on the road. I find myself actually increasingly not on the road these days. After I've been working at home, right, and usually typical before COVID, I would have an hour commute every single day, where I'd be burning through all this content. But truthfully, lately, I really have not been traveling at all, and I'm appreciative of that fact. But I basically said to my boss, like, look, I just showed you that I can work at home for 2 years straight.
Yeah,
why are you making me drive an hour to do the same thing?
Doubt.
Like, because we have a site here where I live in my hometown here, so that I don't have to drive so much. I do drive, but not nearly as much as I used to before. So that's I don't. You're
working in the city instead of in
I'm working here instead of driving a half an hour both ways, basically. So
yeah. And then I don't think I would have like a most listened to like. Would you have like an album? I don't think like this is. I don't have this. This isn't on the list. I'm just trying to see if you have any album.
That's tough. So kind of. So I use Spotify as my primary music thing.
Same.
I am all over the map for music. I don't stop and listen to one genre ever. Like I am literally all over the place. And so I've set up playlists for like moods. Like if I want quiet music, I've got a quiet music podcast. If I want loud music, I got a loud music podcast playlist. And so, but truthfully, according to my Spotify, it gives you like here's your most listened to stuff. Yeah. It was Bo Burnham's Inside album.
That was a good fucking album.
It was a great album.
Not music.
Like music.
I guess it was music.
It's music, but it's not like if I was like, what's your favorite band? You wouldn't be like, the Bo Burnham. Right? But truthfully, out of all of it, that listed it as my number one listened to album because I had that thing on repeat for so long, because that whole special just hit me.
It was
that spoke to me so much that
Same.
And so I the music was so good, and the fact that he produced it and did everything all just by himself with nobody else, I was blown away by it. So that would be if we're picking like which one you listen to the most, that would have been it. Otherwise, I mean, I'm all over the map. I'm like Blink-182 to like Slipknot to Mushroom Head to Dashboard Confessional
same.
to like I'm literally just like boom 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 all over the place.
Yeah,
City and Color.
Yeah, I got like Ice Cube, anything from Ice Cube to like fucking Children of Bodom. You know what I mean?
It's all over the place.
For me, according to Spotify, one of my most listened to albums was like the Outrun soundtrack.
I saw that. I saw that, but you know what? You probably listen to it while you're driving.
Yeah, I would. Well,
I had driving music.
It's what it's made for, right?
It's literally what it's for. Yeah.
And I had my niece a decent amount this summer, and I wasn't gonna listen to anything like else that I normally listen to because of like swear words and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, so all right, buckle up.
Yeah. So I was like, all right. So every time I'd like drive her home and stuff, I would just put in listen to some like Passing Breeze,
right?
And like listen
good
to a
stuff.
lot of Outrun.
That's right. That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah, you go ahead.
What do we got here? So what about mobile? So you've got mobile and or PC game you played the most this year. And this one was tough for me because I do 99% of my gaming is on PC.
Yeah, that's true.
Most of what I do is on PC. But I threw an answer down for both of them.
Yeah,
right?
same.
So if I've got to pick a PC game I played the most, it would be Valorant. I played the most Valorant this year out of all the games.
Did you uninstall it?
I did uninstall. I was not happy with that game. I'll reinstall it again some other time. But that last stream, that did it for me. I won't be playing that on stream again for a long time. It's just one of those games where it's like, it's not a difficult game to play. It's a very difficult game to be really good at. And when other people are that much better than you, it sucks. It's really bad. And then for me, on top of all of that, I've got an internet issue where my ping is double, if not triple, the people in that room. And so I clipped the one of it and I threw it in our Discord because it was like it was such BS. I have my cursor on the guy. I go click, click, click. You hear the gun go bang, 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 and I'm the one that's dead, and he's perfectly fine. And it's just like, this doesn't make any sense. And people will be like, oh, you didn't stop. Because the way that it works is you got to stop and let your reticle come back so that you can balance out your aim and take the straight shot.
Right.
But I was stopped. Yeah. I was stopped. I was not moving. It was not anything. I took those shots. They should have been on point. And what it was is that they're not... I stopped on my side. The server didn't register me as stopped yet. So when I click the shots, the server still thinks I'm moving, and the shots are all over the place. And because I have 110 ping, and that guy's got a 15 ping, he's able to see me long before I even see him, and I'm dead.
Yeah.
So that's why, and it's just so frustrating, right?
Yeah,
because it's like, I know, the reason why I play that game is I know that I'm not terrible at it. I would be hesitant to say that I'm good at it, but I know that I'm not bad at it.
You're good at those kind of games, though. Like
when it looks like I'm bad at that game, that's what really frustrates me and gets me really upset.
Because you know you're normally.
Because I know on my side I hit that shot. It's the combination of the other. Anyway, I'm not making excuses. But
that's like my frustration with the Metroid games. Like I
rage uninstalled that game for you.
I am really good at action platformers.
Yeah.
But those games control so janky, and then everyone in chat's like, "Get good, son."
Oh, I couldn't. I
beat every Mega Man and Castlevania game ever made. Like
I was getting heated, not playing the game, watching you try to do a double jump, which should be done. Double jump. Yes. And it's like, no, when you jump at the wall, you got to turn 180 and push the button at the right time to do the double jump, and you got to do that 6 times. It's hard. It's supposed to be hard. You gotta be good to play the game. No. How about fix your fucking game? How about maybe your game sucks and you don't want to admit that it sucks? I don't care who it pisses off.
But the controls are fucking awful.
I couldn't. I was watching you stream that game.
I beat it this morning, actually.
The entire time you're playing that game, I'm like, I'm never playing this game. I don't even want to turn it on. Maybe I'll make it a stretch goal for donations to see like a rage stream. Because like I was heated just watching you play that game. I couldn't do it. Not in a million years could I do that. It's
very frustrating.
That's just not for me.
If somebody remade them and like made the controls good, they would be really good games.
Look, Don't make the excuses for it. Don't say it's supposed to be that way. It was lazy programming. When Mega Man exists for me to double jump into, when Bionic Commando allows me to double jump off a freaking wall, give me a break. You can't tell me Super Metroid doesn't have that in there. They either specifically programmed it hard to be assholes, or they screwed it up and they didn't do it correctly, and they're just like, no, it's a feature. It's not a bug.
Yeah,
that's how it's supposed to be.
Because it's like his favorite game, right?
Anybody who says
it's just different. The controls are just different. No, they're bad.
And you said in chat, and it couldn't have been more perfect. You're like, I've literally played every single Mega Man from beginning to end. I've literally played every single Castlevania from beginning to end. Not once did I run into this kind of problem, and it exists solely within Metroid. And they're like, no, this is the way it's supposed to be. No, it's not. Your game is bad. You're bad. You should feel bad. Shut this shit off. Let's go to a real game. I'm done. I can't even. I was mad. Yeah. I'm still heated. I didn't even play the damn game.
I beat it. I beat it tonight, and I got this morning, and I got the double. There's like it's called a zero grav jump or whatever. Mm-hmm. And in a normal game, all you would do is every time you hit the jump button, they just keep jumping, right? Like that's essentially what this upgrade is. Okay. But for some reason, it'll eat like 3 of your jump inputs, and you'll just start falling all the way to the bottom.
I mean, that's how it's supposed to be. Look, if you understood Metroid, that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a bad game. Look, it's not a bad game. You're just really not good at playing it. It's just like, I can't. And the fan base is rabid about that game.
They're not bad.
The best game ever. Nah,
they're bad in saying that it's the best game ever, but they haven't been like mean to me about it. So
they're
better than
I don't mean to say that. It's not that they like would start flaming you about it or anything like that, but they won't accept that these things should have been fixed.
Yeah,
they'll continue to tell you.
Did you see that?
The fact, they're gonna be like, well, I don't know why you can't get it.
There's a fucking ghost right here. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
I gotta watch that back.
You're gonna have to clip
I saw
that
this white fucking like orb go up this way.
That's kind of creepy.
It is kind of creepy.
So the thing is with Metroid, right? Is they will tell you flat out, look, you just got to sit here for 45, 50 minutes and practice this. And once you're used to it, then the rest of it's easy. No, what I would say to that is very simple. There should never be a break in the game for me to stop and practice how to play it.
How to jump.
In order to continue. It's different if it's a boss fight, right? If it's a boss fight, that's something you learn the tactics of the boss.
Yeah.
The boss can't be a fucking wall. The boss can't be jumping as a main component, because the thing is, from this point in the game, right, when you do that, when you do the double jump at that part of the wall, right, and I feel like I know we're going off the rails here, but that's fine. When you hit that point in the game and you have to double jump up that wall, well, guess what? From that point forward, that double jump is crucial to passing the rest of the damn game.
Well, it's not. So I will stop you there.
Because that's how games usually work.
That is how games usually, especially Metroidvanias, right?
Right.
So Sirath had said that is a bonus thing, right? But if it's a bonus thing, why can I fall down into that area and not get out of it unless I do that impossible fucking wall jump? So it's not the double jump what you're talking about. You're actually talking about the wall jump, which is fucking impossible to do. And so, yeah, maybe you only need it for that part to get out of there, because I've never really had to use it again. I've had it happen accidentally when I'm trying to double jump.
Okay, that changes things then.
You still have to use it to get out of there when you fall in there.
Well, that changes things slightly, because I was under the impression that was the game's double jump.
No.
And that you're like, because you weren't near the end of the game at that point.
No, I was like around the
how the hell is he going to pass the game when he can't jump up this wall to progress the level?
The double jump
that's when I quit.
The double jump is almost worse, though. Because it just eats inputs. And the best part was Sirath, who's my friend in real life, so I can rip on him. I've been ripping on him about Metroid since I was like fucking 13 years old. And anyways, he was saying there's something wrong with my controller. So all I said was, "You're right. There's something wrong with my controller, but only when I'm playing this game because I've used this exact controller to play every single other fucking platformer I've ever played in my life."
Your controller has the Metroid bug. It's when you're playing Super Metroid and you haven't shut it off yet.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about. Okay, mobile or
PC games.
PC game.
I don't even know how we landed there, but whatever. That's fine.
Just go on a tangent. For the record, I'm kind of enjoying the Metroid series. I like what they're trying to do. The story is good. The gameplay would be good if the controls weren't shit. But the mobile game I played the most this year was Mega Man X Dive.
Yep.
I played the shit out of that. What was your mobile game? Did you get to your mobile game?
No, I didn't. So Mega Man X Dive, I put that down here too. But I've actually picked up another game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Madness. Have you played this game?
No, I've never even heard of it.
Okay, I got to show it to you. It's one of those kind of time sink games. I don't think there's a whole lot of online to it or anything. The reason why my choice was Mega Man X Dive is because you and I can play that game. It's basically like playing Mega Man together, right? That's that. But this game here is kind of one of the ones where it's like it's got the gacha things like the same as all other mobile games do. Yeah. But it's got all the Ninja Turtles. You create a squad, you power up your squad, they fight other squads, you run through the adventure mode, you get gems, you get things, you power up your guys, you get more guys, you just kind of keep looping through this.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun, I gotta say. For a free game, I don't pay money for these things, so I just do the free version of it. The one downside to it is it's got a fair amount of ads. The bonus to it though is that you don't have to play them. They're all optional. Right, so if you don't want to watch the ads, you choose not to, but the game rewards you for watching them. So it's like, if you watch this ad, we'll give you this much in-game currency for doing it, right? Like, and so to me, I think that's a fair trade-off. It's different if I make two moves and then you slap me with an ad, and every time I'm doing something, I'm constantly being added. But these ones are completely optional. If you don't want to watch any ads, you just push the X, no ad, then you're done. That's it. But it gives you bonuses for watching the ads, which I thought was kind of cool. So anyway, those would be the ones that I picked from. I don't do a lot of mobile gaming.
Same. I don't do a lot at all. My PC game I played the most. Now it would probably be like Star Trek Online. I got back into that. Me and Finney are gonna be playing that. I think next week we're gonna be streaming that and stuff. But Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster is probably the one I played the most. I love the fast forward feature in all the like remakes and remasters because you can just plow through like the dungeons and then just stick around for the story and stuff.
Right.
I really like that. Like you can speed through the battles and stuff. The difficulty is like super low in this version, which I mean I guess is fine. I have played almost all the other versions, so it's not like I'm not going to complain about easy difficulty, because if I wanted it harder, I'd just play a harder version of the game.
Yeah, you just pick a different one.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it because a lot of the Final Fantasy IV remakes and remasters and stuff, they go so far away from what the original designers' intents were with the sprites and stuff, whereas this one they actually got the original sprite designer to just redesign the sprites. So it doesn't look as good to me as the PS1 and Super NES sprites, which were like perfect. But it's
they're just
pretty
a little more crisp,
close.
Right?
Yeah, it's pretty close. I can't remember if you get Dark Knight Cecil facing away from you, he looks like Batman for whatever reason in this one.
Okay.
But other than that, looks really good. Everything looks really good, runs really good. So I'm happy with it.
Yep. What about your most played console this year?
My most played console, like I said, all year this year, I've been trying to replay all the classic PS1 JRPGs. Probably 90% of the games I played this year were PS1 games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny where I landed here because I couldn't quite decide. I played a pretty evenly cut combination of console games here. It's between the SNES or the PS1, depending on the way you look at it. Probably the SNES though, and again, even then, I did a lot of the NES stuff, right? But because they were all PS1 versions of the game, so I don't know where you really count that.
Right?
Yeah, I played that on the PS1, so I don't know really where you count that. PS1 would have been likely my most played console. If we're talking an actual console, not like the virtual consoles and stuff like that, then that would have been the PS4 when we've been doing Far Cry or some of the other games that we've been playing, probably. So, but yeah, I would say PS1 probably the same.
Most watched show this year. This one I kind of added, kind of last minute. I think it was like yesterday or today.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, well, I don't get a whole lot of time to watch TV between the stream and the family and all the other stuff that I've got in my life. But I will say the one there was a bunch of shows that I really got hit hard with, but the one show that gripped me really hard was Loki. Did you watch it on Disney Plus?
I haven't watched a Marvel thing since the Avengers movie, the first one.
Okay, so you definitely this is a must watch for anybody. It was a phenomenal series. I think Tom Hiddleston is an absolute awesome actor. He plays Loki so well, and that whole series was just amazing. It was just so good from beginning to end. There was a lot of throwbacks to like the comics and a lot of like really like what do you call those when you would spot things in there that would be like
Easter eggs and shit.
Easter egg stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of really awesome stuff in there. That would be my pick for TV show.
Mine this year, like same kind of idea. Like I don't get a lot of time to watch shows. So what I'll usually do is I'll watch like 1 or 2 episodes before bed while I'm laying in bed to kind of make me like fall asleep eventually. And this year I've been trying to get caught up on Star Trek. Like that's been like my big thing. So I think at the start of the year I was at like season 2 or 3 of Star Trek Voyager, and then just last week I finally finished Star Trek Voyager, and I absolutely loved it. It might be, I think it's my favorite Star Trek, which is kind of weird because a lot of people have been shit talking it. And I don't know. I don't get why people wouldn't like it. I think it's the best one.
Star Trek has that's been a series I just cannot get into. I've tried so many times to get into it, and I just can't. And I think it's maybe just because maybe I'm trying to watch it by myself, and I need to watch the first few with some buddies or something like that to get into it. But like I tried the old one, like the Shatner Star Trek. Not really for me, and then I went to Next Generation thinking maybe, but I didn't get much past the first few episodes before I called it. I was like, nah.
So here's the thing about Star Trek as a whole, and I'll tell you what the issue is with kind of each series and why. So the original one. Also, I made a list, and now I have it complete from the original series all the way to Voyager of the must-see episodes. So I'll post that again now that I have it completed in the Discord. We have that like TV shows and anime movies channel there, and it's basically like all the best episodes, and it basically is like the main episodes that you'd want to see in order to know what the fuck's going on too.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
So that you don't have to watch, like a lot of these seasons are like 24 to 27 episodes long, and then 7 seasons. Like that's a lot of shit, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I will post that again now that I have it completed up to Voyager. But the problem with the original series, I love the original series. I am also the kind of guy that loves 1960s camp. Whereas if you don't like that, if you can't handle the cheese, you are not gonna like it.
I don't mind it. It's the only reason I didn't really get into it was just because it was so slow. Like there just wasn't a lot going on. And again, I think it's just because of the nature of TV shows. Like that's just how, like when you're primetime television, you have that 22 minutes, and you've got to fill this many episodes for your season, and so not all of them are going to be bangers.
Yeah.
And because of that, the pacing gets thrown off, and then for me, I need something to make me want to watch the next episode.
Yeah,
like I said, I don't get to watch a lot of TV, and so I look at like this episode versus the time that I spent watching it. Was it worth that time spent? If yes, continue watching it. If no, then dump it and I'm out. Right.
See, the other thing is with most Star Trek, and I'm gonna say like 90%, is it's Monster of the Week shit. And I don't know if you've watched like X-Files or anything like that, but what Monster of the Week
that felt the same problem for me.
Yeah, so here's the other thing. You're probably going into Star Trek looking for and expecting the wrong thing. Star Trek is not for fans of Star Wars. I mean, it can be, but that's not what you should go in expecting.
Right.
It's more of like a mystery, like thriller, like sci-fi experience than it is any of that. So if you don't like that stuff, you're probably not going to like Star Trek.
For sure. Yeah.
But the issues with the first season series is mostly the camp. There are some shitty episodes in there, but there's a lot of good ones. Star Trek is one of those series where if once you've seen a good episode, you remember almost everything about that episode forever, as if you've seen it as a movie. And then the next here's the other thing. Most people will argue that The Next Generation is the best series, and I can almost agree with them. But the problem is, and everyone knows this, but nobody talks about it, except recently they have been, the first 2 seasons of Star Trek The Next Generation are absolute shit. Like, there's maybe 4 good episodes out of the first, what is it, 60 episodes. Like, there's 4 good episodes out of those 60.
Well, that's what knocked me out, because I was like, I don't know why people say this show's so good. Like, I don't
there's
give
a
crap
lot
about
of
what's going
shitty
on the
episodes
bridge.
in those first 2 seasons.
None of this matters to me. And the thing that I look for TV shows, right? And maybe it's because I really didn't start watching good TV shows until well later in life, right?
Right.
And so, like, I look at shows like Breaking Bad, or, you know, like all of these shows that are like really heavy hitting, story driven shows, and one episode leads to the next, leads to the next,
and
leads to the next.
Most of them aren't like that in Star Trek.
And you have to follow them all to get the whole story. In Star Trek, what happened was this episode happened, and then they went off some crazy hijinks stuff. They came back, and the next episode, it was as if the first episode didn't even happen.
Yeah.
It was just whatever. There's a couple weird callbacks where it's like, remember when I went and did and that's it.
Yeah.
But you could really cut that out,
too.
and nothing actually happened, right? It's not that it's bad. It's just you got to give me something more to pull me into the next episode. And so
I get that.
What I had said, and I don't remember who it was I was talking to about this, but what I had said to that person was, I think what I need to do is have someone recommend the best episode and send that to me and say,
okay, I can
watch
do that.
this one.
I can send you the best one from each.
Right? Because the thing is, since they're not, they're canonical in a small amount. These 5 episodes run together, and then the 6th episode is something else, and then 7th is something else, and then the 8th starts another series where it's like 8, 9, 10, 11 you have to watch, and then 12 is another one where they go off as a one-shot kind of thing, right? Like, it's almost like comic book arcs, right?
Yeah, it really is more like that.
This many issues are all tied together, and then the next issue is a one-shot, and then they run another.
Most of them are definitely one-shots. You'll have usually like season finales will be the only ones where it's like a 2-parter. They definitely don't like ignore what happened in previous episodes.
No, but it's not that it's super relevant to what's happening in that episode. So I mean, so that's kind of the thing, and I thought in order for me to be, because I've always felt like have you seen the show, the movie, what was it called, Fanboys? The one about the Star Wars fans?
Yeah, I have seen that movie.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's the Star Wars fans and the Star Trek fans, and they're fighting with each other, and it's like one can't like the other. I always felt that I should be somebody who could like both series, knowing full well they're not the same, knowing full well that they have their own place in sci-fi fantasy, but truthfully, every time I've watched Star Trek, I'm like, I don't see what the big deal is. This sucks. It's like, and then I just shut it off and I move on, right? And I'm like, why aren't I just watching Star Wars? I'll just rewatch the series again. I'll do exactly that, right? So no, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, to me, I prefer Star Trek over Star Wars, but they're not really the same thing at all.
There's different categories almost, like apples to oranges. Right?
Yeah, Star Trek is more like thriller, mystery, sci-fi, whereas Star Wars is like fantasy adventure sci-fi. Yeah. It's not really even like sci-fi other than the technology thing. But yeah. Anyways, I'll send you the list of all the best ones. Yeah. And I'll send you the best episodes. The only problem with best episodes is you're not gonna know the characters all that well
or anything about anyone,
right?
Yeah.
But
we can figure that out for sure.
But yeah, that was Voyager was my most watched, and I absolutely loved it from start to finish. So favorite or most watched YouTube channel this year?
The one I put down was Video Game Study Lounge, because honestly I have that on all the time.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which is a video game lo-fi music.
Yeah.
But I thought that was kind of a bit of a cop-out answer, because it's music, and hey, it is literally the most watched YouTube channel I have. But I've got two. And the first one is the same one that I had said last year, which is a YouTuber by the name of, he goes by Nutty, which he does tutorials on OBS and how to set things up in streams and different plugins and ways to improve your stream and all of these kinds of things. That guy has helped me more than he'll ever know. He's got no clue who I am, but truthfully, that guy has helped me out with my stream in so many ways. It's unbelievable. The other one I put down is a YouTuber by the name of Super Eye Patch Wolf. Have you ever heard of this guy?
Yeah, I've actually watched some of his stuff. He's got good stuff.
So good. Honestly, like, I can sit there. He just put on up a 1.5 hour episode, and he does the video essay things, right?
Yeah.
He put on a 1.5 hour episode of Garfield. Like,
Garfield?
how Garfield started and where it went and how crazy and off the rails it went to where Garfield is now.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
It's phenomenal. He did one on Sonic, which was really good.
I think I saw that one.
He did one on The Simpsons, which was really, really good.
He did like a couple Dragon Ball ones.
He did Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super. He did Akira, which was really, really good. There's a ton of manga and in anime. He did a Junji Ito, some stuff on Junji Ito. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
He's a horror manga writer.
Oh,
right?
okay, yeah, no.
And like, so I have dived in deeper into manga and anime more than I ever have by watching
really?
Super Eye Patch Wolf's videos. And he's got a really good voice. He's got the way he does those videos is really well. He's funny. He's really entertaining. He's really informative. He's definitely been one of the ones that I watched his entire catalog this year. Everything that he's got, and so sub to him. He's great. I haven't watched this Garfield one yet, but I know it's going to be good. It's going to be fantastic.
Garfield of all the things.
Yeah,
we're going to do a deep lore dive today, boys.
Oh,
on Garfield.
It goes in the deep end of like Garfield, like as a like a end of the world beast. Like where he's like, there's this. Oh, you got to see it. I'll send you the link to the video. You got to watch it.
Funny, dude.
It's out there. It is out there.
I used to love Garfield when I was a kid.
Well, can't wait until the internet ruins it for you.
There's a Genesis game called Garfield Caught in the Act, and I used to play that shit every day.
I think I played that one. That was a good one.
How
about you? What YouTube channels do you watch? What draws your attention?
So my biggest one this year was a guy called The Aging Gamer, and it's like. I like that era of YouTube video back when like the angry video game nerd was big and like stuff like that. Like remember like Pat the NES Punk and stuff like that. So this guy,
have those guys followed.
Yeah, so this guy is like similar to that. He's got a very small following, but he does similar reviews like that. Like it's like the gameplay. He plays through the whole game, reviews it as it goes, like in order of what happens. He reviews it that way. And yeah, he just does some good fucking reviews. And he'll talk about it with the gameplay, and then he'll talk like he's standing in front of the camera and doing like showing shit, doing stuff. I don't know. It's just I love that style of review when it's done well. There's a lot of real shitty ones like that, like a lot.
There's a lot of knockoff guys that kind of they want to be the raging angry video game nerd guy, and this guy is
got to
be the right guy for it.
This guy's not like angry or anything. That's just like the review format type where it's like he talks about these old games that he loves and like stuff like that. Yeah. It's just a really good. Every single one of his videos is really good.
Nice. That's really good.
And he just recently did a Tiny Toon Adventure was one.
Oh,
and he reviewed
Buster
every
Bust
single
Back, or?
Yeah, Buster Bust Loose. He did every single
Bust
Tiny Toons game across like all the different consoles. And it was so good. There's a lot of really good Tiny Toons games, which I didn't know. Yeah. The only one I knew of was the NES one and the Buster's Bust Loose. I never knew about the other ones, but They were all fucking good. And yeah, he did like this weird like Splatterhouse spin-off game for the Famicom and stuff. Yeah, it's so good. It's just, I don't know, just that era of YouTube video. You don't find people doing videos like that are actually good anymore. Well, so
that's just it. It's YouTube's moved on from that to shorts. People want to watch 10-second clips, memes,
or some guy that already has like 50 billion followers, and it's like, I'm gonna put slime in this guy's house and then buy him a new one.
If you want a perfect rundown on the state of YouTube, you got to go to Video Game Donkey and watch his video where he talks about
really good. I'm only making
Among
bad
Us
videos.
Mondays.
Yeah,
Among Us Mondays.
I'm only making bad content from now on because that's the only thing that makes money.
Yeah, and he's joking about it, but he's dead serious. That is exactly how it is, right?
Yeah,
like if you want to become a YouTube superstar, if you want to be the next guy, in order to do that, you have got to put out daily content, interesting content, short content, informative content that keeps you grabbed and that continues you down the path.
You gotta be fake as shit too. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, look at this box I got in the mail today.
This game literally kicked me in the nuts. Click here to find out what happened.
Yeah, it's like,
and then you click on it, and it's just like,
yeah, it's so bad. Yeah,
it's just
You know what? Another one that I like. I don't know what the fuck his name is actually. What the hell is he called, dude? He's like a bodybuilder guy. And you're gonna think I'm fucked for watching this. He's
Johnson and Joanne McLeod.
No. He's a bodybuilder dude, and he does like I don't even know how to describe it. Like he tests out like things on his body. Like his whole thing is that he's indestructible because he's so strong.
Okay.
So he'll just like run around in the middle of like a fucking like paintball thing, getting just lit up. His latest one, he took like a flail, like a fucking mace to the thigh. Like some guy was just like, and he's just,
no kidding.
He's just funny the whole time too. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I like content like that where it's something unique that is a breath of fresh air.
Houston Jones, that's his name.
Houston Jones.
Yeah, look up
that's
Houston
a great
Jones.
Name. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, he's hilarious, and his friends are pretty funny. And man, he's got like a lot of followers, but he's nice. Fucking funny guy.
How about your favorite Twitch stream to watch this year?
So my favorite stream, my most watched, according to, did you get your Twitch thingy in email?
I did. I did get my Twitch thing.
Watched?
My most watched stream was this famous streamer that I know named Dukey03.
Was it? Yeah, mine was DGonline. My most watched stream was DGonline. My favorite stream to watch, other than like us, was Kame. I watched probably more Kame this year than ever before. Yeah. I'm always watching it, even when he's just playing like fucking Euro Trucker. I'm always watching that guy's stream.
Kame puts a good stream on. He really does put a good show on. And I saw he's kind of practicing for Buster Only again, getting down for, I don't know, do you know if he's doing his Mega Man, the Gauntlet one where he plays literally every Mega Man
I
game?
Hope so. I fucking hope so.
That's a lot of fun to watch. It looks like not a lot of fun to do, but it's a whole lot of fun to watch. My favorite streamer this year is a guy that we randomly stumbled across, and I don't even remember. We were either doing D&D or I was doing Final Fantasy, and we saw this guy streaming, and his name is NoranRad22. He was streaming at the time when we found him. He was going through a Game Pro magazine, and literally
he would turn about this guy.
He turns the page. He looks at the game on the magazine. He's like, "Okay, we're gonna play this game, whatever it is. Doesn't matter what it is." And I thought this was literally the best idea for a stream that I have seen in a long freaking time. Yeah, that is a really good idea.
We'll have to do that sometime.
Because it keeps the stream fresh. You get to, like, because most of these games, I never even heard of a lot of these damn games. Like, the one he was playing he was playing a Bug's Life for N64.
Ooh,
it was awful.
PS1 and it's horrible.
It was awful, but he was playing it, right? And it's just because like he turns a page, he's like, okay, here we go, right? And and he's really entertaining. He's high energy. His whole stream is just a ton of fun. I can't say enough things. I was literally just talking about him yesterday with a group of friends, and I was saying how criminal it is that this guy is not like top tier at the top of Twitch.
How many viewers does he kind of like sit around?
He's doing okay. I think his follower count is about 1,000. At any given time, you'll probably see 30 to 50 people in the stream.
That's good,
right? And he's growing as time goes on, but it's criminal because he puts on such a good show. Have you ever watched Future Man Gaming?
Yeah, I used to watch him a long time ago.
He reminds me a lot of what Future Man used to be. Future Man really played up the kind of...
he lived in like a cyberspace thing.
That was kind of his shtick, right?
Yeah.
And now when you watch him, it's not that he's a bad streamer or anything like that, but now he's just like every other streamer.
Oh,
he's a guy sitting there playing games.
I haven't watched him in a long time.
He's kind of just doing his thing, right? And so when I watch Norrin Rad, it reminds me of Future Man Gaming, because he's got like these, like he'd hit the button and it'd be like no, right? He's got like the repeater on there, and he's got all these cool like sets, and the one where he's just talking with him, he's sitting behind a desk with a microphone, and it's all green screened in and stuff like that, right? But it's just a good time. Like that guy puts on such a good. I've rated him 3 times this week.
Nice.
Right? I'm just like, yeah, we're going back to Norrin Rad today because here he is, and he's got a really good, like, and it's just because his show's so entertaining. I know when we send the stream over to him that every single person in chat, they're getting something good out of that, and they continue on, right? And so anyway, 100%. That's definitely been my favorite streamer this year, easily.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'll have to do that sometime.
Yeah, we should talk about it. I mean, I don't want to rip him off, but I really want to rip him off.
yeah.
It's like, because that's just a really good idea. Like, and so we definitely.
I've never done like a stream like that, but I've done that. Like, I've downloaded.
You have your magazines.
I actually have a video next month. I'm going to be putting my Nintendo Power video up, and a lot of games that I like grew up playing that other people are like, I've never heard of this game, were games that I just saw in a fucking Nintendo Power magazine, like Dr. Chaos on the NES. It's like it's a Spy Hunter, but better than Spy Hunter. But then you also get out of your car and then it's an action platformer game. Like, it's such a good fucking game that nobody knows about, and it's in a Nintendo Power. It's on the cover of a Nintendo Power magazine.
No, like, it's awesome.
There's so many good games that people don't know about. Same with Wampum. You play as like this little native kid, and it's basically a Mega Man game. So you fight these like spirits. So you fight like the fire spirit, and then he gets like a fire power for the next level and stuff. Like there's so many like good games nobody knows about on like the NES and stuff. So worst game played this year. Where are you on this one?
Dragon Quest II.
I forgot you played that this year.
I struggled because I honestly couldn't think of a game that I played that I would call the worst game that I played this year.
Yeah.
And truthfully, Dragon Quest II wasn't a bad game. Dragon Quest II suffered from one fatal flaw for me. And what that was the story was going great. Everything was going awesome, and they're like, well, here's a ship, see you later. Yeah. And then that was that. It was like,
to your own devices.
And I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. And I spent 2 full streams trying to figure out what to do in that game before I finally quit. That's the only game that I've ever actually full-fledged quit on and didn't finish on stream. And then I was talking to you after, and you're like, wow, if you couldn't do that, you had no hope when you got towards the end of the game. Yeah. And so I was like, well, good thing I called that then, because that's just not happening. Again, worst game I played this year? Okay, I'd say that. Worst game I've played? Absolutely not. It's just, it wasn't a bad game. I feel like if it was made for the Super Nintendo, it wouldn't have had that problem. But when they gave me that boat and I didn't know what to do, I was done. I was sunk at that point. There's literally no hope for me at
Dragon Quest II is I wouldn't say it's a bad game yet. I wouldn't say it's in the bad game category. It's definitely not in the good game category.
It's like rides the line.
Yeah, and this is coming from like one of the. I'm like a massive.
You're
Quest
the fan. If someone has a Dragon Quest question for me, I'm just directing them to you at this point, right? Like that's where you land in my books.
I do still hope you'll play Dragon Quest 3 at some point.
I will.
The Super
I
Famicom
do intend.
version.
I actually intend on returning back to Dragon Quest 3 after I'm done Final Fantasy 4.
Oh, okay.
I skipped Final Fantasy 2. Just because I was like, is Final
you're
Fantasy 2 going to give me the same results as Dragon Quest 2? You were like, yeah, basically. I was like, okay, good enough for me. And then Final Fantasy 3 was kind of
play the Pixel remasters out now. Play that one. It solves apparently all the bullshit problems that the
because that at the time that wasn't available, and you were like, just jump straight to 4. It'll be better for you. So, and I was okay with that. I do intend on returning back to Dragon Quest 3. I'm gonna have to familiarize myself with Dragon Quest 2 though, just so I know what happened in that game on the off chance. And I don't know, but just on the off chance if it's relevant or not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The only reason I've ever wanted to play Dragon Quest 2 is because Dragon Quest Builders 2 is a direct sequel to Dragon Quest 2. So when I beat Dragon Quest Builders 2, I was like, fuck, now I want to go play Dragon Quest 2 again. And then I did, and I was like,
you're like, oh yeah, I remember.
It's still not great. Worst game I played this year. I did a stream where I just played really bad Sega CD games one night, and the worst one I think was Star Wars Rebel Assault on the Sega CD. It's so bad. It's like, it's not even. It's got like those like bad FMV features to it that a lot of the Sega CD games had, but it also like you can't control anything. Like,
no.
The start of the game starts you in like Beggar's Canyon, and you're in one of those like shuttle ships, like those 3-pronged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like just drive through Beggar's Canyon, and I'm holding the right on the D-pad like as soon as this mission starts, and my ship's like. And then as the turn comes, I'm like smashing into the fucking wall.
No.
It's like, how are you supposed to play this game? Because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and it's not even working at all.
I want to say I played Rebel Assault 2 on
I heard
Windows
that one's
95,
a little better.
And I think
it's
that
on like the PS1.
Okay. But it was it fell to the exact same problems, I think.
Oh,
where it's like FMV, and you have to click the right button at the right time to do the right thing. And if you don't, then it's because it's all delayed. And
it was super fucking awful. And then there were some like parlor shooting segments where like you get out and you're like running, and then all of a sudden you're standing there and there's like a little cursor you move around to like shoot guys.
Yeah.
And that part was like okay, I guess, but it was still pretty awful experience all around.
See, here I thought you were gonna say Spider-Man and the Sinister Six.
No, this is worse. Spider-Man. You know, the aging gamer. His most recent review was actually Spider-Man: Return of the Sinister Six. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like super excited that he did that one. He actually beat the fucking game. Apparently, I only had one more level to do, and I would have beat it.
Yeah, you couldn't have been that far off
because I got stuck on the Hobgoblin boss. That game's bad, but it's like. There's different levels of bad to me. Like, there's bad that it's like so bad that it's funny.
Well, as soon as you see that LJN logo, you're like, oh, okay, I know what I'm in for now.
Yeah. Whereas, like, Star Wars Rebel Assault, like, is a game with just hearing that name, you would think it would be fucking cool. Yeah. Looking at the box, I mean, you see, like, a fucking, like, X-Wing and the Millennium Falcon and shit. And then you play it, and it's just trash.
It's like, oh, this is interesting. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, and it was one of those games that I just didn't enjoy the entire time I was playing it. Whereas at least with Spider-Man, it was like fucking hilariously terrible.
Right, it had those moments. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What would you say is the best game released this year?
So this was a tough one for me. I only played 2 games that were actually released this year. One of them was new Pokemon Snap, and the other was Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster. So
nice.
I had to go with the Pixel Remaster on this one. New Pokemon Snap was good. I would say it's way better than the original even. It was a good game. Okay. But, I mean, Final Fantasy IV is Final Fantasy IV.
I didn't pick up any games released this year that I wanted to talk about. And so I actually went with one that I haven't played yet, but I know is amazing because I've seen it. I've watched people stream it. I've seen people play it. And that's Hades. I would say
I've seen a lot of people play that.
Was the best game released this year. I feel Hades should have won Game of the Year. instead of Last of Us 2. I feel that Hades was that breath of fresh air game that is one of a kind in its way. I know there's a lot of roguelites out there. I know there's a lot of games that play that way, but truthfully, that is my game of the year. That's my pick for game of the year, 100%. So, what about? So this is our number one question. Yeah. What was the best game that you played this year?
So the reason I had to put this to last was because it's already shown up on the list once, and if we did this question first,
you started this at the first.
We would have known, yeah. So it was Lunar 2 Eternal Blue complete.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm putting this like I said, the main reason I want to play all these PS1 JRPGs is because I want to do a top 10 PS1 games video. And
for sure.
And JRPG is my favorite genre, especially that era. Like there's so many really good ones on the PS1. And this is right up there with Final Fantasy IX, Final Fantasy IV, Dragon Quest VII, Dragon Quest IV. Like this is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. One of the greatest games of all time, I would say Lunar 2 Eternal Blue is.
No kidding.
So to have played that new this year for the first time, it's just like, it's almost like mind-blowing because mind-blowing in that I missed it. Like, how did I miss this? But then also mind-blowing in that when you have, like, Dragon Quest XI is my favorite game of all time. But Dragon Quest XI takes everything I love about every Dragon Quest game.
It was a build-up to it.
And just makes it a little bit better even, right?
Right.
And so, but this is a series I've mostly never heard of, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm playing this game when I already have like these games that I love set in stone. Like these are probably going to be my favorite games for the end of time. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have that when you had the same favorite game for so long. And then you play something like Lunar 2 Eternal Blue and even like the first Lunar, the Silver Star story. And it's like shattering the cement and is like reforming what your favorite games are, because it's like, how do you do that after all these years? But it did. That's why it was so really good. Crazy good to me.
That's some high praise. That is some high praise. I've spoke about both these games as well, but I would say the best game that I played this year, and I couldn't decide. There was two here. My number one, the one that I wrote down first, was Chrono Trigger, because this was the year that for the very first time that I ever played and completed Chrono Trigger.
Right.
And what a freaking masterpiece that is. Like, that is just, that was an amazing game. I finished that game and I was like, wow, this is what I've been asking for and begging for in a video game in years. Like, can you imagine if they released a game now of that quality? Like of like that, where it sucks you in so hard that you can't do anything but think about that story, and like even when people talk about it, you're like, oh, that moment when blah 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 happens, I can't believe it. Like, this was great. And then for us to be able to talk about the game and have completely different experiences, I feel that just adds that much more to it. So to me, that's my number one. But then I was like, well, that's kind of a bit of a cop-out, because that's one of the best games of all time. Yeah. That's if you said gun to head best JRPG of all time, that's at least in your top 3. Guaranteed. No matter who you talk to, right? Because it's just such an amazing game, right? So then I was like, okay, well, what else? And honestly, the only other game that I could put a candle to it right now is what I'm running through right now, which is Final Fantasy IV.
Yeah.
It's just that good. It's that good of a game.
It's so good, dude.
I mean, the other games that I've played, they've been fantastic. They've been great, but I don't think any of them have gotten me this
like gripped
much.
You.
Yeah, where I'm like, I can't wait to play that again.
Yeah.
Right? And so the only other game that I can think of that I've played that's given me that kind of a feeling recently would have been Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah,
and that was a couple years ago, and that was off stream.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that was before you. Yeah.
Yeah, that was before I even started streaming. Not one game I think that I've played while streaming has hit me as good as these two games, and I played them both this year. I'm not going to finish Final Fantasy IV before the year end, I don't think, because I think I got too much to go yet.
Yeah.
But we'll be pretty close to end of January at the pace we're going right now. And I would say those are easily the best games I played this year.
Yeah, those are some heavy hitters.
That's just like, this story is just like Chrono Trigger. When like I had to take a 10-minute break after I finished Chrono Trigger just to kind of understand the gravity of the game being over and like what we just went through, and like the boss fight was phenomenal, the story close offs, and then the fact that it's like, yeah, this is one of many endings. You got this ending because of the choices that you made in the game. If you make different choices in the game, you'll have gotten a different ending by the
What ending did you get, by the way? Do you remember kind of the specifics? Because some of them aren't like super different, and then some of them are really
this
different.
One, I got the ending where everyone's just kind of friends and everyone heads off afterwards.
Oh,
there wasn't really a whole lot going to it, and I think that was because I killed Magus.
Yeah, but definitely killed Magus. You know. I've never seen anyone kill Magus before in a Chrono Trigger playthrough.
I mean, the thing is, like, and I appreciate chat for this, because that choice came up where it was like, do you want to fight him or not? And I kind of looked at chat and I was like, well, what should I do? Should I fight him? And they just went silent.
Oh, that's good, though.
And exactly. And I was like, okay, we're going with our gut. And I was like, nope, Frog's too pissed about what he's done. He's like, because basically the way I took it as Magus was like, Magus was so hyper focused on his goal that he was going to charge over anyone in his way. And I didn't feel that there was any chance at all that Glenn would have forgiven him for killing Cyrus. There's just 0% chance. It's just never going to happen. He's going to take him out because he's a paladin. He lives and dies by his word, and he swore vengeance for his friend Cyrus. He's going to take him down. Now, rewinding, if I was to go back and play this again, now I know because that's the other thing. I didn't know he could join your party.
Yeah, exactly.
I had no idea what would happen if I chose not to fight him. So I was like, we're going to fight him. We're going to take him down, and that'll show him.
Was that a hard boss fight or not really? Like, I've never...
It wasn't an easy boss fight, but it wasn't as hard as fighting him the time before that.
Oh, okay.
Right? And I think it's done that way because the game subtly hints to you not to kill him, right? Because I was rereading the dialogue leading up to that, where it's like, you should probably forgive him, but I was like, nope, screw that, we're killing him.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone actually kill him.
I thought that Glenn had that level of conviction that he needed to take Magus down. Now, rewinding, I'm sure there's a level of dialogue which I'm going to find out through another playthrough, and I figure I'll play it either next year or the year after again. We'll run through it again. And I feel like there's probably a dialogue where it's a moment of, like, you know, apologizing and accepting and letting go of that vengeance component of him, and going from there. But I just phenomenal game. Just that one decision alone changed the course of what happened.
Yeah,
for the rest
really,
of my game,
yeah.
Right. So,
one thing. So there's like a lot of different endings. One of the ones I want to talk about is it's not really a spoiler because you'll never like do it. Right. But what it is because you can do New Game Plus, right? So keep your save files. So when you replay it, maybe play New Game Plus. And so with New Game Plus, you can challenge Lavos at pretty much any point in the game.
Right. Yeah, you can take him on like literally as soon as you jump through the portal.
Right. As soon as you fight that what is that, robot Gabbo or whatever in the fair, pretty much as soon as you fight him, you can go fight Lavos. But one of the my favorite ending is if you know when you go to the when Marl goes to the past and she's kidnapped by those guys in that church or whatever. So if you go back there and you what is it? You kill Lavos then before rescuing Marl.
Right.
Lean gets rescued by Frog is what ends up happening, and she ends up marrying or having an affair with Frog. So, and it doesn't like flat out say this, but the ending, Marl is like ribbiting and shit. Like she's she's like part frog. Yeah, that's my favorite ending. You can watch them all. There's like videos on YouTube where it just plays every single ending. I recommend checking some of them out. It's pretty funny.
I'll probably check that compilation after I run. I need to run through it one more time with picking Magus up.
Yeah,
and
to get that
making
ending.
some other decisions. I some of the other decisions I kind of whiffed, but they weren't as big deals. But
yeah,
I definitely want to rerun through that. And then the second time I play through it, I'll follow a walkthrough so that I can get like all the items and stuff.
Like Luca's mom dying is a big thing that changes stuff.
Yeah, that's something that happened to me, but I actually backed my save up for that one because it shouldn't have happened to me.
Right.
When you go to punch the code in, it would say enter code, but it wasn't accepting the code.
Yeah, I had that happen to me once too.
It just glitched out completely. So it was like, no, we're gonna rewind that because to me that's unfair. That's part of like the game broke is why that happened.
That happened to me once the first time I did it too.
Because then Luca's mom's just miserable. She's like, I hate everything, stuck in a chair, right?
Yeah.
And so I rewound back to my previous save and I redid that and fixed that component because I was like, nah, that's not fair. The game doesn't get to decide what my decisions are.
There's also there's like a lot of the side quests. If you have to complete like all the little side quests. Did you save the forest?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I actually did a lot because
you did like that Cyrus one where.
Yep.
I did
that's
all
my
of those.
Favorite
one.
And the only reason why was because when you talk to the Guardian of Time at the guy at the end of time there,
you always get
when you
like
talk
hints,
to him,
kinda.
Yeah, he gives you direct hints, which I can't say enough.
Especially
about
for games back then, because a lot of them were bad for not.
That's all I would have needed for Dragon Quest II.
Mm-hmm.
One central place for me to go, and for him to be like, maybe you should check out the South Island. There might be someone down there.
Yeah,
and then I'll be like, all right, let's go, and then I have at least a direction to go, right?
But
that's what I was needing.
One thing, and you can't it's hard to argue this because. In one way, yes, you can argue that the game's kind of shitty for not doing that, but in another way, you can't because Dragon Quest II, like Dragon Warrior 2, came with a giant map. It came with a hint book that told you where all the relics and stuff were.
Right.
And so it was just a matter of going to those places once you get the boat. So it's
now. I didn't have a hint book, but I did find the map. I had it bookmarked.
Okay.
So I was referring to the map, and even then,
it's still a fuck.
It was
show
still confusing.
In Dragon Quest 2. But
I could have opened a guide and followed the guide and completed it. But the whole point of me doing it this way is for me to experience it the way that I would have if I went and bought the cartridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in 1990, right?
Exactly.
And there's no going on GameFAQs back in 1990, right? So.
But as you were mentioning with Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy IV, when I did one of my first top 10 videos, and I have to revisit this at some point because it was like old and it looks like shit, but my top 10 Super NES games, number one ended up being Chrono Trigger, not because I like Chrono Trigger more than Final Fantasy IV, but because on the Super NES, Chrono Trigger is a better game. Like you said, Final Fantasy IV, the Super NES version, is not nearly as good as the...
If that was my experience with Final Fantasy IV, I don't think I would have gotten as far as I did.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, that's it for
that's the wrap up.
Topics and questions.
Another year,
best
second
of
annual 2021. This is the second award set that we've done.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm glad
to year number 3.
Be able to do this with you every year, every couple of weeks when we actually have time to do this.
Yeah.
There's been a big fucking gap this time. We've both been pretty busy.
Yeah. Well, and the time change doesn't help anything.
Yeah,
either,
that's
right?
true too. Right, that's why I was like waiting for you at 9 o'clock. I was like, what's taking him so long? But it's not 9 o'clock at your place. It was like 8 o'clock probably.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it would have been 8.
Yeah, okay.
So 10 your time. Yeah,
that makes sense.
And that's the thing is it's a mess. So time goes back to normal in March. So I'm assuming we'll probably line up a little bit better for podcasts then. But,
absolutely.
I mean, the whole point of this podcast wasn't to have a scheduled release. We kind of do it. When
exactly. When it needs to happen, kind of like when.
And
we
hopefully
feel...
over the Christmas break, if you end up getting some spare time, we can jump back into Far Cry a little bit too. Because
we still gotta finish Far Cry 5.
There's all kinds of stuff. Plus, there's the Discord, and you guys can. The more active you're on the Discord, maybe you'll win one of these awards next year.
Yeah,
just saying.
You could have the Luminaries of the Livestream Best of the Year,
Best of 2022. That's right.
Award. Yes. All right.
But truthfully, thank you everybody for your viewership. for your hanging out in chats, for your being active in the Discord, in the streams. Without you, we're not here. I can't thank each and every one of you enough for being who you are and where you are.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening, watching all our stuff, hanging out on stream, hanging out in the Discord, just like DG said there. And enjoy. Have a great New Year's. Have a great Christmas. I believe this will be out before Christmas. I'm putting this up on the on Wednesday.
Just before Christmas.
Yeah, so
just before.
Have a good holiday season. Whatever you celebrate it great and safe. And we'll catch you wherever and whenever we catch you. Have a good one, guys. Thank you so much.
Good one.
Goodbye.
Bye.